Mm-hmm.
I am gonna do the opposite and say what I don't want to see from Twice.
Oh, okay.
What
Okay,
I
go ahead.
don't want to see from Twice is more English songs.
Oh,
I don't get it. I don't understand. I have never heard a song in a foreign language and gone,
Mhm.
this song will be better in English.
Do you think a lot of international fans who aren't Koreans might share that same perspective, or do you think?
All right, take another another pill of Pepto Bismol. I don't care. I don't care. Cry about it. I don't care.
Cool. All right. So hello to everyone tuned in. You're listening to Offbeat Koreans. My name is Insider. I'm your host, and I'm joined with BM and Dubious. So today's topic is going to be Twice and their schedule for 2022. And I kind of had thought about this topic because pretty recently we got a schedule for Twice's Fourth World Tour. They're going to be starting it during the Christmas season in Korea. And then in the following February, they're actually going to be going to 5 American cities. And they'll have more dates on top of that. And this is their 4th one so far. They've been having one every 1 or 2 years since debut. But one thing that made me kind of want to talk about this topic was the fact that this following year of 2022 will be the end of their 7-year contract. And for those that don't know K-pop that well, a lot of K-pop companies have this thing where they establish a 7-year contract with their idols groups, and within those 7 years, the idols are pretty much subject to their management and all the activities they have to do. And at the end of the 7-year contract, which for Twice will be the following October, they pretty much decide if they want to renew the contract or not. And it was a conversation worth talking about just because there's been a lot of activities going on within JYP. The three of us also have been following Twice for some time. And so I thought it was worth kind of bringing this conversation up, especially as this year comes to a close. So the first question I kind of wanted to ask to you boys was what you feel is the general mood of the Twice members. Like if you guys think that they're maybe tired, if you think they want to continue. We'll go into like the individual members later on, but for now I just kind of want to talk about like the group in general. And yeah, what do you think about like the general mood? BM, I guess I'll start off with you.
Before I touch upon that subject, I would like to add, Insider, that Twice added actually 2 more days to the tour.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, 1 more day in LA and 1 more day in New York.
Oh, that's right, because they had so much tickets being sold out.
Yeah.
but on the other side, I think the Korean one got canceled due to
That's right. The 24th of December, so the very first one got canceled because of the Omicron variant.
Yeah.
But they still have the 25th and 26th in schedule. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. So I guess touching on the subject of like what I feel is the general mood of Twice, I feel like they're and I want to kind of be like delicate here, but I feel like they're kind of content. I will say though that I think I'm really enjoying like Twice's evolution in their like music like trajectory, like music wise, and like how they're like let's take for example the latest album, right? You still get the classic Twice pop feel, but they throw in like interesting elements into the mix. Like one of the songs was like straight city pop. There was one that was like a rock ballad, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets kind of wild, and like I really like that. But I don't know. I can't help but feel that they just kind of feel content. Whether it's maybe like on their like Twice variety YouTube channels, like maybe like watching their variety and stuff. I don't know. Maybe they're just relaxed and stuff, and that's just what I'm picking up on. But I feel like it's plausible that they're like content. They've had a pretty generously long career, right? It's the end of their 7-year contract, and I feel like members. What I think will happen is members will start to turn to different avenues, whether it's for like creative purposes or like monetary purposes or just like purpose, you know.
More like solo, you mean?
Not necessarily solo, but like maybe like each member has different opinions, you know. Like people always thought that like Dahyun would do good in like variety, you know, like permanently, like as a resident. Chaeyoung is the artsy one, so maybe she'll go something more creative. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I kind of want to say Jui like reminds me of an actress, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be different if it's like a Taiwanese drama or something, you know.
I love my girl, but I don't know if her acting skills will hold up.
Get this man. Somebody get their man.
What about you, Dubious? What do you feel is the general mood?
Okay, before I answer, could we all go ahead and agree that like, okay, so I guess for BM, right? Twice is in your top 5 girl group of all time, right? Oh, I thought they were. Oh, okay, maybe not. All right, fine. Insider.
Well, I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they are.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Insider for you, right?
Yes.
Okay, and for me, they're still my top group of all time, or my favorites. So I want our audience to know that whatever we say, we're coming from a place of like we like Twice and we want the best for them. Okay, so like people aren't like, wait, you're freaking hating on Chewie. You know, it's like no, dude, she's my bias. Like, no,
Why are you hating on Chewie?
She can't act. No, I'm joking. Okay, so I think my general sense for, I guess, like the general mood in the Twice members is that I think with like the contract renewal coming up in mind, I think they would feel that like is ever since like debut, especially since like 2016 to 2019, like they've really sprinted. Like when you look at the number of songs they released, the kind of like concerts that they've had, I think they've done so much more than what most girl groups in K-pop will get to do, right? But I think in 2020, when you start looking at, even some of like the absence of some of the members, we're going to talk about this later, and even like the lack of concerts and whatnot. I think that was probably the time that, for better or for worse, they probably had time to kind of rest, but also think about what the future holds for them after Twice. I would think, especially with the renewal coming up, you know.
Especially after that really tough year where they're
Exactly.
like jam packed with like their schedule and stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like if you look at 2019, it's kind of crazy. Like I did find like number of songs that they release every year, but in 2019 alone, they like Twice Lights, they had 21 shows. That's crazy. Yeah,
that's the one I went to.
Wait, no, you went to Twice Lights. No,
wait, you just said Twice Lights.
Sorry, I said Twice Lights. Yeah, Twice Lights.
The third world tour.
Dude, gaslighting me already.
Twice Lights. Yeah, that's right. 21 in Asia and 4 in North America. Wow.
Yeah, and like that's not to mention Twice Lights actually went over into 2020, and so they had 4 shows.
That's right.
But then 4 got canceled. Okay, so here's the thing. If you look at the numbers, right? So I'll just kind of look at 2018 to 2020. 2018, so they actually, the number of songs that they released in like 2017 up to like 2020 are very similar. It's like 26, 27, 22, and 25. And the number of like Korean comebacks are kind of similar as well. In terms of like the shows that they had in 2018, they've had, what is this, 8 plus 11 plus 8, so like 60, so 27 shows in 2018. In 2019, they had like 26. In 2020, they had 4. They had 4 in 2020.
Interesting.
And in 2021.
Well, obviously because of COVID and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And so they did have like virtual things as well, or like virtual concerts, but and in 2021 they also didn't have any shows. I think there was supposed to be a couple that were supposed to be held in December, but those were the one that got canceled, I think. So just looking at those numbers, I think as Twice, as the members, like they probably would have thought, okay, like I don't know if they would have thought, okay, we're nearing the end, but they would at least think like, okay, if let's say next year some people don't renew the contract, what will it mean for me? If let's say the group falls through, and let's say we end up disbanding, what will it hold for me? So I think that would probably been around the time that they start thinking, oh man, like what solo things could I actually have done? Or like what did the company do to like build my like solo potential? That's at least how I feel like the Twice members will be at. This is all speculation, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess kind of going on this topic of all these like tours that they had, it's pretty clear that like Twice, whenever they were busy, even if they didn't seem like they were busy in Korea, it was always because they were like overseas, like somewhere in Japan. Because in Japan, especially, they got like a lot of concerts being done. In the Twice Lights alone, I know it says 21 in Asia, and I think almost half of them were in Japan. And at that time, they were just trying to like build kind of their popularity in Japan even more than they had already made it. And one of the things I also did want to kind of point out was two of the members had gone on hiatus. One of them is Jeongyeon. She's already going on her second one right now. And Mina had another hiatus back in like 2019-ish. And I kind of want to ask you guys if you think that this may be an indicator for maybe the girls getting a little tired, if they kind of want to take a break from this, or if you think that maybe this is just more of like an individual issue and like what these girls have been talking about, and if this was kind of like a big factor in what they kind of see as to their future as Twice or as not Twice. And I guess we'll kind of talk a little bit more about this as we go into individual members. So I'll just kind of step into it. One of the things I do want to point out is Twice is one of those groups, rare groups, who has not had like solo activities being done. And I don't mean like one of them coming out on a variety show. I mean like solo albums, having like a proper like seating on some kind of show and being like an active member. Like these girls have stuck as 9 for like these 7 years. And it's one of the things I feel like has actually been something that I wanted to see from the girls. So as 2022 comes along, these girls will kind of have the choice of leaving or staying with the company. And whether they leave or not, they may have a bigger choice of being able to do something solo.
I think the extent of their solo activities was like probably their melody projects, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And like the photo shoots and stuff, like photo albums they've done.
Oh yeah, they're like Hana, Jui, Dahyun. Yeah,
Yeah, Dahyun. I think Mina did some.
Mhm.
Yeah.
These girls also don't have Instagram accounts, right?
Yeah, it's a JYP rule, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think
the
it's a
ITZY members
rule,
don't
yeah.
have it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so like like they don't have their own YouTube channels or anything like that, despite a lot of K-pop idols these days having some kind of YouTube channel.
They're individual. I mean, Twice
Yeah,
has a YouTube channel, but not their individual. Yeah.
Right. So I guess we'll just kind of go through each member one by one, and you guys will kind of predict whether or not you think they'll stay or leave in Twice and why. And if you think they might do any solo activities and what they might do, right? So I'll just kind of go in age order, starting with Dahyun. BM, I'll let you start first.
Wait, could we do this? Could we do it where like you would give like just shout like a percentage of how much you think they would renew?
Oh, so like a percentage of sure. If we could do that.
And I thought that'd be a little more fun.
So you want me to say it?
Yeah, like from 0 to 100, I guess. Or if you don't think 100's like valid, then just like 95 could be like the highest or something.
You want me to die so you can live?
No, I'm gonna give a percentage too.
Okay.
I'll give it 2. I might as well.
Yeah, I think we should all say what it is.
Yeah.
And then don't dare change it because one person said something.
Wait, so what's the percentage referring to? Like staying or leaving?
Staying. Let's be positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nayeon? If Twice were to disband tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Oh, sorry. No, I think the question was, what's the percentage you think they would renew next year?
Yeah. So on October of
yeah.
20,
Okay.
next year.
Sorry. I was confused. Okay.
God damn it, bro.
So chance of staying for renewal 65.
65. Okay.
Wow.
And why is that? Why is that, BM?
I think So I feel like it's really, first of all, it's really hard for me to see Twice as not OT9.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to think about it this way. So the reason I gave her a 65 was I think generally like Nayeon like would resign, right? But I think it's contingent on like how many members are staying, right? At a certain point, like if it's like only like 5 or 4 members, right? Like it's not really Twice. So I feel like JYP would do something different. But I think Nayeon would stay, or at least like be willing to stay.
Right.
But then at a certain point, like you can't really stay, you know, or you can't really re-sign us Twice. Maybe like go solo. I think out of the 3 singing acting variety, Nayeon like would probably be singing because like she actually enjoys singing, you know. But yeah, I don't know. 65 is. I guess that's my answer for like why I chose 65.
I see. And you think if she had to go for solo activity, she would go for something like singing?
Yeah, I feel like she'd probably go like the Eunbi route, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eunbi from former IZ*ONE.
Former IZ*ONE. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Dubious.
You just gave the center Twice a 65% chance of staying. And then you foreshadowed it by saying that if the rest of the group just starts expanding. All right, I'm triggered already.
Wait. I don't get it. Wait,
No,
what does her being center have to do with anything?
No, I'm just saying, just like her being a center Twice. Like you're saying, if the center leaves, it's you know it's even more consequential, right? Then let's say like
yeah.
Dude, think about it this way: like if Insider and Dubious leave Offbeat Koreans, am I gonna stay? No.
Well, but I was hoping that you'd at least say like even if let's say one of us ends up leaving, that the other one would still want to be in Twice, you know. And you did explain that. I just thought that's why I was wondering where the 65 was coming from.
You want me to say if 7 of them leave and it's only Nayeon and 1 member, that I give them 100% chance of Nayeon staying?
But then you gave 65 and it's so low, which makes me think you do think a lot of people are gonna leave.
I do. Honestly, I think.
Oh my gosh! All right. All right, that's fine. That's fine. As we go forward, I'll get triggered more, but I'll try to keep it out of minimum right now.
That's a heated discussion. Well,
for me, if we're going from 0, and I'll go 95, because like the whole like 100% doesn't make sense for me. It's, you know, it's just we can't be sure. But this is like as sure as I can get. I would say 95% she's staying.
Okay.
The reason why is because for me, like when I see, you know, because we follow them throughout, and then there were some parts where like, you know, we weren't as like up to date on Twice or anything, but then every time you go back and like watch videos, I think like you know, I was watching some like more, you know, Times Twice videos today and like in the recent weeks. I just feel like she still is very happy, like, and of course a lot of it could be still acting, but like I think a lot of it's still genuine. Like even when you look at like behind the scenes kind of videos from their filming, music videos, like she to me she hasn't lost like that happiness when she's on camera and when she's doing idol stuff, idol like activities.
Yeah,
and
but
because of
what about Twice? So like she'd still be happy doing idol stuff, but like Twice.
So I guess this is where we kind of differ. I don't think enough members will disband, and I know I guess we're kind of spoiling like the rest of our list, but I don't think enough members will disband out of the group for her to be forced to kind of leave.
I give 100%.
Don't back out now. You're at 65.
No, I give 100%.
You give 100% they disband.
No, I give 100% to you letting me die so you can live.
I'll take that. I like those odds.
Well, it's good that we have two very despairing ends of the opinion. If I had to give my percentage, I would say yeah, she most likely will stay. So like 85 for me. I think a path that she definitely will take is she will, kind of like what BM says, she will try out for like a solo singing. But I don't think she's gonna risk it all by doing it kind of like just all by herself. I think she still will stay within like kind of namesake of Twice, but go off doing like solo albums here and there. I'm not sure how much more concerts they'll be doing in the future, past their 7-year contract. But I'm positive that like all these members want to do some kind of solo activities, and they're just kind of waiting for their 7 year to end for that to come. So yeah, by leaving twice, that would kind of put more risks for her, even if she wanted to do something like solo singing.
Can I add one last thing?
Mhm.
I actually want her to do some variety. Like, I think whenever she comes on, and I don't think she ever like had a big stage to show her variety skills. I think on Running Man when she did like the acronym poems and stuff like that. I think those are like small hints that like she has potential to do variety. And I would love it if she could take on. And by the way, this is a great picture. I keep looking at it, but I think she could do something like hosting a talk show, like kind of like Amazing Saturday or something like that, where it's not you're not tossing her into Running Man, right? But like you're tossing her into a smaller show where she's able to kind of be a bit more visible to the general audience. And I think that's something that she should also be doing as a center of a group. So I would love it if she had the opportunity and that if she wants to do it, but it might be a tall order to ask of her.
Kind of like a sub host kind of thing, like not the main one, but like one of the sub.
Yeah, someone who kind of gives color commentary,
Yeah. No, that'll be good.
I think she has a good personality for variety.
Yeah, she's witty too. I think she's witty.
She's funny. Yeah, she's funny. Yeah.
And you definitely need to be some level of an expert too, I feel like, be on Korean variety. Being like a quiet figure, I feel like won't help. So yeah, I agree. I think Dahyun could do well in variety. On to the next member, Jeongyeon. Ooh, I feel like we're gonna have some opinions on this one. I'll start off that way. The two of you can have some time to think about this one. I think in terms of how much she might stay in twice, I'm gonna put at a 15%.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm gonna
Oh my god.
say 15%.
Oof.
And there's multiple reasons why. Number one, there's the fact that she had to go on hiatus because of the multiple mental health issues she had. There's also the fact that this is kind of a feeling that I get from Jeongyeon is, for me, whenever I see her more of like a model, and sometimes more of like an actor's vibe than someone who does like singing and dancing. And it's something that I feel like she might want to follow the footsteps of her sister. Her sister, for those who don't know, is a well-known actress in Korea. And or she might even go into modeling, which is one thing that I feel like she should do if she does some kind of solo activity. She kind of has those like model proportions. And for like, I feel like she was also like the one member who may have had kind of like negative thoughts when she heard like what songs were coming out next for Twice. Like some of the other members might have enjoyed it, but she kind of wanted to go for like a different route. And I think
like saxophone,
like like so, I don't know what kind of genre of music she likes, but something that's kind of away from like the cutesy and like very feminine ones, which Twice is kind of known to be for. And looking at the latest vlog, which she did individually, she does seem to want kind of like time for herself, like kind of discovering a little bit more of herself as well. And I feel like she can't really do that if she stays in Twice. Yeah, so that's my opinion. BM.
I think first of all, Jeongyeon. I hope I hope Jeongyeon takes all the time that she needs.
Oh, for
hey man, hey, I know what you're doing, and you know what? I want you to stop. You know what you're doing right now? You're saying something really nice, and you're gonna say something really bad. But
No,
you're qualifying yourself.
No, I'm not.
All right, take it away.
I hope that she takes all the time that she needs. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just unsure, like, if Twice is like a factor in her mental health, like, struggles. Like, it could be something else, right? It could be a lot of things, but it could be not related to Twice. Like, that's
true.
That's plausible, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's a factor, and if it is, then I give her like 25% chance of staying.
Of staying. Okay.
But you know what? I could be very well like wrong. Like it could be something else, right? Or sorry, I didn't even officially say that that's what I think. But you know, like it could be anything else. And it could be like nothing related to Twice. Or like Twice related activities, you know?
Right.
Regardless, like overlooking my percentage that I gave, like whether Twice stays as a group or whether Twice like pursues other things, Twice members I should say. I hope that like Jeongyeon takes all the time that she needs. Like mental health is a real issue. I've dealt with it, and you know it sucks. So I hope,
Yeah, but you're totally right that her mental health issue may be something totally unrelated to Twice.
Yeah, I think it's easy to think that it's because of Twice, but
just because that's all we know about her.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. She like there's never been like a public statement like specifically about it.
Yeah.
Or like specifying what the causes were, because obviously like privacy and whatnot. But like we don't know.
Right.
We can only speculate.
Dubious. What about you?
Well, first of all, I want to stop doing this podcast. And second of all, I think okay. So my percentage.
How do you meet this guy? How do you meet him, Insider? How do you meet him?
So I'll say this. I think my percentages are a lot higher because I think the consideration I'm taking into account is that, first of all, these girls will be at oldest, Nayeon, will be 27 or 28 next year. Right?
Yeah, let me bring back the age. Yeah.
Wait, can I predict your take?
Sure, go ahead.
You're basically saying these girls are getting older. Staying as Twice is easy money.
Easy money is not exactly how I would put it. What I will say is, if they leave Twice, right? And I don't know if that means they will leave JYP. But like I would assume it means they would leave JYP because they're not re-signing with JYP, and I don't know why JYP would accept 9 individual. I mean, they might accept like, you know, the girls that they think would do well in solo, but as long as JYP still wants Twice to be a group, I don't know if they would give that as an option, right? So let's just assume that if they don't sign as Twice again, they're leaving JYP. Okay, so they have to find another entertainment, which they probably can, but then they have to consider first, what can I do?
Yeah.
So then let's say looking at Jeongyeon, right? Let's just be completely as
honest.
realistic as possible.
That's right.
What will she do? Is she gonna sing? Maybe, but if she was gonna sing, why don't she just sing Twice? Maybe she wants to sing different songs. Okay, fine, that's a possibility. Does she feel she's confident enough to lead a solo career? These are the questions that I'm thinking, and that's why I give her 75% chance of staying.
I see.
And that is supplemented by my belief that I do believe she truly wants to come back to Twice. Like when she took time off, I gotta be honest, like back then when she took time off, I thought that was the end of it. I was just like, I already felt like she wasn't like some of the other girls, like Nayeon, when it came to like enjoying the idol life and enjoying the idol spotlight, right? So then when she left, I was like, I think this kind of is the end of her career as an idol. But then like
Twitter stands, you know what to do.
If you look at some of her more recent videos, whether it was through like different vlogs or like through Twice like behind the scenes videos, she's making an effort to come back. And the only 2 reasons why I would think she does that is because, one, this is the worst case scenario for me, is that she wants to, this is like her last hurrah before she leaves Twice. And she wants to leave on a good note. That's a possibility. But the other possibility is that she actually wants to come back. And she realized that in her time off, in her time of hopefully healing, she realized how important Twice was for her in her life and how it would what it would mean for her career. And so she's trying to make her best efforts to come back. And that's the side I'm betting on. So that's why I give her 75. That's my reasoning.
Okay, interesting. So you
What
think
about you?
one of yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I guess one of the things that Dubious did point out, which I kind of agree with, is like for some of these girls, even if they have thoughts of leaving, there's not like a clear second alternative, which is why they may stay with Twice.
And I think that's something that like you brought up before in the beginning, where it was like, oh, like Twice doesn't have or didn't do a lot of individual stuff, right?
yeah,
That's the double-sided, sword. Double-sided, yeah, double-edged sword. Sorry, god dang it,
Yeah,
double-sided,
yeah.
double-edged sword of this system that JYP implemented, right? Where it's like, okay, we're not gonna have a situation like Suzy, where like one person becomes more famous than the group itself, you know?
Right. Like
But then at the same time, you're kind of putting these girls in a shackle because after Twice, what are they gonna do? They didn't build up an individual career, right?
Right.
So sorry, I cut in, but I want to point that out.
Yeah. No, I mean, like at the beginning, I said she's probably gonna stay like only like 15% chance. And I think she may want to kind of live a quieter lifestyle. That's just kind of the sense I got from her blogs. I don't think music and maybe even movies is kind of her thing to go into. It may be modeling. I still get the sense that she might want to do modeling. It's a lifestyle that she could still kind of thrive and present herself as a celebrity, but something that could be a little more quieter. She doesn't have to, go to like concerts and ceremonies every single time. She can tour the world as a model, so that's another one.
I mean, I guess we also don't know how much these girls made in their lifetime. So maybe they've made enough like FU money that like they could just kind of start their own thing and do their own thing. And at that point, then my argument just completely breaks down because they don't really have to worry about what's to come for the rest of their career,
Yeah, that's true. On to the next member, Momo. She is one that I will say will also still be remaining in Twice. For me, I'll give her a 75% chance of staying in Twice. One of the things I feel like Momo might want to do, and something that I even feel like maybe JYP might push her into doing, is appearing on like dance shows. That's kind of one thing that she's known for, is being a good dancer.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say mukbang. And I was gonna be like, yeah, I agree.
It was like good.
I was thinking like dancing shows, kind of like as those hosts, or like the judges. I mean, or she might actually be. She was one of the two I was thinking of being on Variety. I feel like even as a foreign member, she has a very good personality. Kind of like that dumb and clumsy character sometimes that fits into Variety.
You just call her stupid.
She even said herself that she got stupider after an incident. You can look back on the Knowing Brothers episode.
I'm not going to
quote me on that.
I'm not going to put that clip in.
Wait. Dubious, can you clip the Momo reactions from that? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, where she opens up the package.
Sometime in this like podcast.
Yeah. I'll have it with captions like "Insider saying I'm dumb" or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of the things I'm just like, yeah, she could, like, if we talk about like some of these foreign members and they're gonna go back to their country, like for Momo, it's like going on like these dancing shows. I don't think that's really a good choice if she was to go back in Japan. I feel like a lot of these kind of shows are more present in Korea, which may also kind of help her to stay in Twice as well.
Insider, were you thinking of like a show like Street Woman Fighter?
Those, or even like these kind of idol shows, like Girls Planet, and she appears like a judge. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
What about you, Bian? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, for me personally, I don't think, I can't really recall a time where I like thought, oh, Momo is great at Variety, that didn't have to do with like her reactions,
Oh.
Not like responses, but like reactions, like facial expressions and stuff, I think I give her an 80% chance of staying in Twice.
Oh, okay. Very similar to one.
I do like the how you brought up the point about like dance shows or like being a judge. I can see that definitely now that you mention it, but I think other than that, I can't really see Momo like pursuing anything.
Yeah, like singing and acting, I don't really know.
I don't see that. Yeah, so I'm actually yeah. That's my take.
Dubious.
Yeah, for me, it's like 90%. I gave her a little less than Nayeon. The reason why it's high is because she, to me, it's like very similar reasoning to Nayeon, where like when I look at her, I still feel like she enjoys it. She enjoys the process of being an idol, um, and uh that is supported by, I think, like back in like 2018 and 2019, and I guess even maybe like early 2020, she used to go on V Live so much. Do you remember those days? Like she
Mm,
would do like solo V Lives and stuff, and
yeah.
like to me, like that really showed that like she enjoys being an idol. Like, or maybe she was just going out of her way to like put a lot of effort in, but it just felt like so natural that she would like, I don't know, interact with fans and like want to talk in front of the camera, things like that. The reason why I kind of knocked her off a couple percent, and I'll explain this, so just don't like go crazy, but it's because of her dating, her like past dating life.
Mm,
And the reason why I say that is not because dating is an indication that you're less committed to your group. I'm not. That's not the reason why. The reason why I think dating might uh, draw her away at least a little from Twice is because at least dating someone shows you a life outside of Twice, right? It
mm,
shows you a possibility of what could be after Twice,
right.
and that's the only reason why I kind of docked her down a couple percent. But I'm pretty sure she'll resign or renew.
Mm, no. On to the next Japanese member, Sana. She is one that I would say also is like one of the more popular Twice members. She kind of is very much, in my view, kind of like the face of the group, kind of like the cutie and bubbly image that Twice represents. For her, I would also kind of give her a high percentage. Yeah, I'll still give her a 75% in terms of staying for reasons. I don't think regarding like singing and like dancing, I think it has to do more with the fact that she enjoys being and working in Korea. I think in terms of solo activities, she's also one I think that might do a lot of like like commercials or like things within fashion. Um, I remember when I was watching some like the latest music videos, she just kind of got the sense that she would do well in commercials, and I feel like these commercial companies would kind of reach out. Um, and for her to focus on those while also staying in Twice just makes sense for me. She's someone that I don't think would go on like solo singings. Acting wise, I also don't think she'll do. Variety, I yeah, I don't know if she'll really focus on that as much as like Momo or Taeyeon can. I think it has to do with a lot of like endorsements, and I think she'll find a relatively good field for her in Korea. So I think her future is kind of set in that reason, and as we know, but these kind of endorsements earn millions for celebrities like her. So I think she might be eyeing that. BM, how about you?
Um, I'd also give like an 80% maybe to Sana.
Mm,
80% is probably almost as high as I'm gonna get, honestly. Um, like I don't want to give 100,
right,
and
right.
90 is still pretty high for me. So 80 is as good as it gets. Anyway, I out of the three, singing, acting, and variety, I feel like this might be like a controversial choice, but I think she would thrive in variety.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think like Sana's like very bubbly, and she's like very energetic, and like she has good like back and forth, you know. I think she has a good variety of personality.
Are you thinking about like kind of those kind of like reality shows, or like more like kind of like hosting shows? Like,
Um, sorry, can you repeat that?
yeah. So like hosting shows, as in like let's say like there's the beauty kind of show, and she's like one of the sub hosts,
Uh-huh.
and just like I don't know, like presenting on like specific makeup, and like they kind of try it out and they like share with each other, versus like somewhere on like uh like Running Man or something like that, where she has to do things that are more physical, like a lot
Oh,
more of those
I
based.
see, I see. No, I was I guess initially I was thinking more like Doron Toyori,
Mm,
something like that, you know? Kind of like Hedy, you know?
yeah, something that
Yeah.
like a lot of younger idols can still do.
Yeah.
being talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. Dubious.
Yeah, no, I give her very high. I give her 95%, the same that I gave Nayeon.
Oh, that's basically what I said.
Like I still think she loves it. Like she gives off the vibe that like she enjoys the process. And and yeah, I agree with BM. I don't think it's controversial. I would want her to. I want her to try variety. Like there's art. Like I can already recall a couple of shows that she came out in where I was like, I think she can do well. I just don't know why JYP never pushed her to do more variety stuff. Maybe they were just really busy and because of all the tours and whatnot during 2018, 2019, they couldn't commit her to any show. That could definitely be a case.
Mhm.
But I feel like yes, like I think she's very cute and like her visuals are out of this world in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like like I think the most charming part of her is actually like her speech and like when she talks.
Mm.
Oh
Like
yeah, 100%.
I think she's a great talker. I think she's very witty. I think she's the wittiest person, and she's very deceitful in a good way. I think like
Can you
I think she would
elaborate
do.
on that?
There's a this is an inside joke where like um like let's like for me like I really like Chewie and so like I'll like watch Chewie stuff and then suddenly like Hana will kind of appear on screen and do something that
Mm.
like kind of takes your eye away. Not kind of like a bias wrecker, but like it's almost like you get mad at her because it's almost so deceitful. It's so
Yeah.
sweet,
Yeah.
but then in a good way and then like in a positive way. But yeah, no, I mean I give her a high chance of staying.
If you were JYP, what show would you recommend putting her on?
Again, I think like Amazing Saturday would be a good one, or any like more talk oriented show.
Yeah.
We mentioned this like I don't know what 2 episodes ago where we're talking about idols on shows where I don't know many physical shows that she would be good on.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wherever where like chemistry is like a part of the show, I think is where she can shine.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to the next member, the leader of the group, we have Jihyo. She is, I would also say, a pretty high chance of staying. I'll give her an 85%. I think she is very loyal to Twice, not just because of the fact that she's in JYP, but it may be because of the fact that she's been a trainee at JYP for so long, so it just kind of feels like home to her. I will say though, she was one of the girls where I kind of had a harder time thinking about what solo activities she might do. Like the only one that could really come into my mind is singing like OST songs for like dramas. Um, and that was it. Like I was even thinking like, okay, well she's like the main vocal of the group, so wouldn't she kind of do like her own albums and maybe like a solo that way? But I think if I had to think about who would be good at like solo albums, I still think like Dahyun would be the one and not Chu. So she was definitely one I kind of had a hard time thinking about solo activities.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like OSTs fit Nayeon better than Jihyo, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about I guess your opinion then on her percentage and what solo activities she might be good in?
Oh, sorry. Did you have any like finishing thoughts?
No, I didn't. I finished.
Okay. I think Jihyo has a relatively high chance of staying.
Yeah.
Like 80%. Yeah. Wait, did I give Nayeon 6? I gave Nayeon 65, right?
Yeah, dude. You gonna retcon this?
Hey! Look at me! Hey! I don't know. You can cut that up, by the way.
No,
that was more personal.
No, I'm gonna cut it out and use it for other clips.
Dang. Well, I guess like going through these members individually, it's giving me like a better understanding of what you were mentioning earlier, like how like what other alternative do they have?
Yeah.
So Jihyo like 80%, I think, as well.
Mhm.
like don't get me wrong, like she was a great singer, but I don't know like what kind of OST she would cover. I feel like Nayeon has a voice. Oh, do I really want to say this?
Say it. It'll be the highlight.
So the first term that comes to mind, and this is, I'm gonna protect myself here. This is my insurance. This is subjective, right?
I'm cutting this part out.
It's an opinion, so it's obviously subjective.
This is
right?
fact. This is fact.
But I feel like Nayeon has a more palatable voice suited for OSTs as opposed to Jihyo.
Guys, get him.
It's
Okay.
I've had a nice life. I've been blessed. It's okay.
Is it because Chaeyoung has like more like the jazz,
Yeah,
kind of mature voice?
yeah, a more fuller, richer voice.
Right. It's more powerful than Dahyun's
Yeah, yeah.
Good
Yeah.
try.
too.
It was worth a shot.
and then Dahyun has more of that kind of idol feel, bubbly.
Oh,
Higher
Insider,
tone,
you're just reading my mind here.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are both getting canceled.
It was worth a shot.
We'll make this the headline. Yeah. What about you, Dubious?
For me, this is pretty short. Like, I give her also 95. So, like, 95 for me, I think is like BM's 80. So, like, for me, it's 95. Like you mentioned before, I think it's worth noting she's been training for longer than she's been in Twice.
That is true. That's a good
Yes.
point.
Yes.
I think she wants to see it out. You know, like
Yes.
and I think it's a little hard to do a read on Jihyo just because she's a leader. And I think there's she carries that burden, right? So like
Yeah.
even when she's on camera, I think she tries to let the attention go to others, before herself. So we don't really see a lot of true Jihyo, in a lot of times. So we might not know how she truly feels, but I think she carries that burden of being a leader. And I think she knows how hard she worked to get here. And I don't think she would have been training for 10 years if she wasn't convicted in being an idol. Or at least I would hope. I'm sure there's things that she found out while being an idol that she realized, or she would have never known being a trainee. But I still think she was more ready for this than the other girls were. Some of the other girls were.
Yeah, that's a good point. The next girl, Mina. Oh, I have strong opinions about this one.
Dubious, go first, please.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go last just because I have strong opinions about this one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a contentious one. I thought a lot about this one because she's also one of the two that took a hiatus during the past couple of years, right?
That's right.
When I was first looking at Mina, I was actually gonna give her a very low score because I thought she would leave. Like, she's one of those people in Twice. I'm like, she has that personality that's not the most idol-like, right?
Yes.
Which is perfectly fine, and there's a lot of people who like her because of that, right? I like the fact that she's more introverted and a bit more quiet. Like, if we have someone like Nayeon, having someone like Mina in a group is perfectly fine, right? And they can cover for each other where they kind of fall short. But when it comes to Renewal, you have to consider that, yes, like, I don't think she enjoys this process as much as someone like Nayeon does, or just like, stereotypically Nayeon. And also, like, we know somewhat that, like, her family's doing well off, that, like, she doesn't need to do this,
Right.
Like, she doesn't, like, if she goes back home and, like, decides to be a hermit, that's it, she's probably saved up enough. And, like, if she wants to do small activities here, like just vlogs here and there, like, she could probably do that for the rest of her life, right? The reason why I'm gonna give her, and I give her 85, and I know it's really high.
Wow.
It's really high. But the reason why I say this, and I want to be convicted, is because when I see her nowadays in videos, it almost feels like she caught a second wind. Like, she's actually a lot more vocal and, like, vibrant in, like, videos I've seen.
Well, right?
Yeah, nowadays than she did, like, a couple of years ago. Like, a couple of years ago, I was like, dude, she's, like, almost shying away from the camera.
Yeah.
But nowadays, when she's in front of camera, she's, like, very vocal and, like, almost open. I'm just like, was the break that she took, like, really? I mean, I'm hoping, was it, like, good for her? Maybe she realized, like, she enjoys this, a lot more than she originally thought. or maybe the slower 2020 was also good for her too, like not having to travel far away for like all these concerts and stuff maybe gave her kind of renewed motivation to do well, so I don't know. I feel like if anything she's on the upswing. I was kind of conclude by that. I think she's on the upswing, she's now on the downswing.
Interesting.
My answer is actually influenced by yours. I actually do think that Mina has been enjoying Twice activities. At least from like the things I've seen, like variety, I give her a 65.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's still high.
I give her a 65.
Like in your gauge, that's pretty high.
I was thinking about her like hiatus and with her like mental struggles and stuff. And that was what was kind of preparing me to give a low percentage. But I agree with what you said. I do think that she's like getting a second breath wind. She's like she's just like more interactive and she's more I think more vocal as of late. So going to like solo activities, Mina is a vocal vocal line in Twice, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So singing is obviously a possibility. I guess like for a lot of these members, and I guess it's kind of like thinking how I would handle it if I was an idol, I just don't know how. For a lot of these members, I just don't know how much they like enjoy like singing per se, or I think singing over acting and variety out of the three categories, because singing is such an integral part of like being idol, or it's like it's the core of being idol basically. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how much Mina enjoys singing. I know she's part of the vocal line, but that could just be because she's blessed, not necessarily because like you enjoy singing,
Yeah. Wasn't she also kind of more of a dancer on 16?
She was.
Because she did ballet.
I feel like she was more of a dancer, and then like she became like the bridge queen.
Yeah, she kind of started off being like the Black Swan. That's kind of the nickname that was given to her. And then like you said, she started being the one to always sing the bridges before the chorus.
I personally like her tone the most in Twice, and so that's why I if anything, like you guys are talking about like Jihyo and Nayeon doing OSTs, I actually kind of wish she would do some OSTs.
Oh, you know what I see Mina doing?
Mm-hmm.
Ballad OSTs.
Yeah. Ballad OSTs.
Yeah, ballad OSTs.
I think I love her tone.
She has a soft voice, very soothing. I think it's perfect for ballads. Before we move on to Dubious's take, for those of you watching, if at any point like you see a flaw in any of Dubious's arguments or like his opinions, feel free to comment down below. But
why mine specifically?
Not me though, not me.
not an insider, just mine.
Dubious, your take.
No, I already gave my take, you dummy.
Your take on my statement.
Dude, that's a 95% no, dude.
All right, insider, your take.
Wow, okay, I guess I have a very different mindset.
Yeah, and she's your bias too.
She is my bias.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I will give a 25% chance of staying in Twice.
So pretty much you think she's gonna leave?
I think so. And for me, it's not even the hiatus. It's the fact that one of the things, if we're just kind of focusing on Korea, I will have to admit that Mina is one of the members that's more like kind of like hidden within the group. She doesn't seem to be taking on like a main role that a lot of like the Korean public can really eye out. And again, she is like the quietest member, even quieter than Tzuyu. I think she kind of notices that. And then one of the big reasons why I also think she might leave is by the time their contract is ending, there's gonna be I could bet you there's gonna be hundreds of Japanese companies looking at to recruit her for like just different activities.
Interesting.
And she will definitely eye that, because the thing is, she's made a career in Korea, And as we've seen from cases like Sakura and like Hitomi and Nako, who are like former IZ*ONE members, they came back like heroes, you know? Because coming back as a K-pop star and being Japanese, it means a lot in Japan. And for her, that's like she's coming back as almost like a queen. And you know, she has the visuals, she has singing talent. And she's like actually like the most famous Twice member in Japan as well, according to some rankings. And she has a lot more opportunities for her in Japan than in Korea. And like it's different from like Momo and Tana. One of the reasons why I say that is because I feel like Mina can be a little more versatile in terms of things that she can do. I feel like she could actually do acting. I could totally see her doing that. And you know, a lot of famous, you know, girl group idols, when you know they start to approach the end of their girl group career, they end up going into acting, right? They go into acting like Suzy, or Hedy. And I feel like it will be the same with Mina, but I don't think she's gonna do acting and like singing in Korea. I feel like she would rather do that in Japan. It's kind of the stronger base for her, and Japan is the bigger market.
Yeah.
And you know, like going back to the point of how she's kind of one of the quieter members, I feel like she notices that too. And with her kind of gaining confidence and seeing the 7 years coming on, I don't think she's gonna miss a chance of jumping on to like a Japanese way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, can I make a cruel joke?
go right in.
Oh, sorry. No, well, you can finish it because it's not about Mina.
I was just gonna say I think that would actually be best for her, and I actually like that idea as well. So
Damn.
yes.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I very much think that. Yeah.
All right, Twitter, get him.
Yeah, it might be better for Mina. You're right. It might be better for her, like as a solo, or for her career. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it just made me really sad. But the cruel joke that I was gonna make was, you know how you said like, you know, when Sakura and Nako were in IZ*ONE, and then they came back to Japan as heroes, or like, how can you be a hero when you're ostracized by your own group? You know, Nako. There was like that news about her.
We don't know
Her
if that was
members.
true or not, but okay.
I don't know. I can't remember the last hero that had their headphones tossed in the trash can by their members.
Okay. To go
Some
on to
weird
what
hero.
to go on to what Dubious' point is, and you could snip an
I'll flash
article
the
on this.
article. Yeah, I'll flash the
Yeah,
article.
it was Nako was assumed to have been bullied by her HKT members, which is kind of like the AKB group. Because yes, some things like her headphones were thrown away. She was speaking Korean on stage, and the members behind her were like making disgusted faces or something like that.
I think she accidentally said Korean, but like, yeah.
Oh yeah, some kind of Korean phase, and then the members were like, "What's she talking about?" But yeah, that was referenced. That
She's a big hero. She just gets her your AirPods tossed out in the trash. That's all. Once in a while.
Yeah. But yeah. Any other opinions on Bina, I guess? 9? Well then, on to the next member, Dahyun. She is very much the variety star of Twice. I can start off with this one. I think, yeah, I'll give her a 90% in terms of staying. Just because I do feel like, and I feel like 95% that she will appear on Variety. I think she may go on to shows where there are like kind of like older veteran actors. I do feel like she's like one of the members that could best fit with those kind of people. She could do things that are a little bit more physical, even if she's not like, you know, like a very strong person. And I feel like by staying in Twice, she still kind of has that label on her as being part of like, you know, nation's big girl group. And like Variety, you know, it's like one day a week kind of thing, so she'll still have enough time to do Twice. And she's very loyal to Twice as well. I get that sense. Yeah. BM, going on to you.
I think I agree. I think Dahyun stays. I think Dahyun is actually one member that I can say like with full confidence that like she really enjoys being in Twice, I think. I don't know, she just looks very happy to be in the group. that could be like her, like due to her personality, like she's like an upbeat person, like a pep in, what is it? What is the phrase? Like pep in my step or whatever. But like I give
Very
her,
optimistic.
yeah, I give her a 90% chance.
Oh, just like me.
Yeah. I think she would be the last one to leave. That's my bold statement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But out of the three after, probably Variety, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the members.
The
agree
obvious
with that.
opinion.
Yeah.
All the members.
Yeah, like they appeared on Radio Star one time, and they're like, yeah, like Taeyeon's kind of the variety star. In the group.
Yeah. And she's been like that since 16.
That's right.
I don't really see her acting. It's hard for me to like envision her acting. Taeyeon, like Taeyeon's been the rapper of the group,
Yes.
I mean, she's had some singing lines and like B-sides and stuff. Like one of my personal favorite songs is Ice Cream, and Taeyeon is like Taeyeon sings in Ice Cream, or like Nogayo in Korean.
Yes.
But yeah, that's
Oh,
my
that
favorite.
song's good. That song's good.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
That song is healing incarnate.
Yeah, for those who haven't heard it, it came out like 4 years ago. But it's like it was one of their B-side songs, which is why people might not know it. But yeah, I highly recommend Twice's Ice Cream. Dubious, your point on Taeyeon.
With Taeyeon, I give her pretty much 95%. I agree with all the points that you guys made. And I also don't see where else she would go to if she was to leave Twice. I think she has potential to do well on Variety. I think every time she's come out, she showed potential. But I also do think that her Variety is more fit for like older Variety. It's a bit more actiony and slapsticky, which isn't bad, but I think a lot of varieties are moving away from that.
Like Running Man.
Yeah, like they're becoming a bit more chemistry based shows and more talking shows. And I think she might lack a little bit in that department compared to someone like Sana. But that's just my opinion. We haven't really seen a time where she could shine in that area, so she might be a lot more adept at that than I assume.
I kind of see her as the female Kwangsu. Like, I can see her as the female Kwangsu, not like in humor or like degree of humor, but more like, you know how like Kwangsu is kind of like the stepping stone.
Yeah.
In like Running Man, and like he has like a lot of reactions and stuff. Yeah. I feel like Taeyeon could thrive in that.
Yeah.
Going on to the next member, Chaeyoung, the main rapper of the group. I can start off again. In terms of staying, I think she's one that I gave very even grounds on. I will say 55% staying in Twice. I think she was one that she was one member that seems to have like a lot of like side skills on her. Like she's the one that kind of like writing lyrics or like drawing art, or like I could definitely see her wanting to like start her own kind of YouTube channel and things like that, or making her own Instagram account. And I think if JYP allowed her to do that, then she might want to renew. But if JYP kind of sticks with the same rules, past the 7-year contract, she may want to try something different. I kind of don't think that she will leave just for that reason. But if she was to leave, then I feel like she would want to try like a bunch of stuff. I definitely feel like Chaeyoung has the most like versatile like dreams. Like she doesn't just want to do one thing. She might want to try like 4 or 5. And that might kind of get her thinking about if she would want to renew or not. And I think that's one of the reasons why I give her 55%. Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little lower.
No.
I give her like a 40.
Oh, okay.
I guess the best analogy I can give, or the like similar in concept, is like when the concept of like employers deeming you too overqualified for a job. The concept is that like you're eventually gonna like get bored and stuff, right?
Right.
Like you have like different avenues of interest, like Chaeyoung, right?
Yeah.
You're into like art, like drawing, illustration. you're into music, Cheng recommends music a lot, right, on Instagram, etc. And like sometimes very like like it's not very obscure, but like sometimes like different a genre that you might not expect from a Twice member, you know. And I don't know about variety. I think Cheng does fine on variety, but I don't think like it's like she's ambitious about it. You
Yeah.
know? So like, and she's also like a creative, you know. I feel like yeah, she's kind of. I think she has too many interests for Twice, in my opinion. That's why I give her like a 40.
Yeah, to go back on your creative point, I definitely agree with that. She's probably been the most experimental when it came to hairstyles, and that I think kind of goes along with her like artistic interests.
And she has tattoos.
Yes, that's right. She
The
does
only
have a
member,
tattoo.
right?
Yeah, and by being in Twice, that might kind of limit her a little bit. I don't know how much freedom she will have. So yeah, that's another point. Dubious, how about you?
Oh,
Mm.
I wanted to agree with you. That she, I think it depends on the contract that JYP gives her and what, in like what a renewal entails. You know, is it like more creative freedom, more autonomy, or is it like same as the past 7 years? You know,
Right.
which I don't think JYP is gonna do
Yeah.
if they're smart, honestly.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a music management company. I'm not, you know.
Yeah, it really does depend on their new contract. That's true. Yeah. Dubious?
Yeah, for all the reasons that you guys have stated, I give her a little lower. For my standard, I give her 80%. I do think like if we're looking at every member in Twice, like she's probably the least satisfied with the songs that they do, in my opinion. Like because if you like BM mentioned, like she does a lot of like recommendations for songs. It's not like Twice like, you know. I feel like the songs that she listens to and whatnot, like and enjoys singing, they're not like Twice like, and um and I think she wants to be a singer songwriter, you know, and like yes, you know, like I think JYP has given a lot of the Twice members like opportunities to write lyrics for some of the songs, which is definitely good. But like I think she wants to be something bigger than that, you know, that someone who writes her own things under her name, not under Twice's name, you know.
Yeah.
But the reason why I still side on or fall on the side of her renewing is because like I think compared to earlier days of Twice, I feel like she's kind of growing into her own, and I think she's blossoming more. Like I'll say like during Fancy era, you know, like sometimes we'll have conversations of like who do we think was like their era during the comeback. I think like there were times where like that was her, you know. I think Fancy, you could argue that it was Chaeyoung's era, you know. And I think even in like 2021, I feel like she blossomed a lot, and like kind of grew into her own. When I say that, I just mean like I think she was more memorable during those comebacks, and I think she has a bigger presence. And so because of that, I feel like I don't know what that really means, but I'm gonna interpret that as her maybe just feeling better in the group and feeling better in with the position that she owns. And that's why I kind of give her, you know, still a better chance of staying than to leave.
I want to comment on your point about Chaeyoung being probably the most dissatisfied with Twice's discography. It's like taking a person who's into like avant-garde fashion and like sticking them in J Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you mentioned like at the start of the episode where like even like their Formula of Love like album has very varied songs, right? Which is still good. So I think I'm hoping that those are areas where she may be able to kind of express her artistic, and like even I think like even the shirt that she's wearing, she might have designed that. I forget. I know someone designed that, and I know like she designed a couple of shoes and stuff.
She designs a lot of their
fan merch. Yeah. And so like I do think the company is giving her these avenues to express her creative, you know, artistry. And I think like what's a bigger platform than like Twice, right?
Right.
At least for her in her life. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe that is appeasing her enough to stay, you know, instead of and not making her feel like her creativity is being capped, you know.
Yeah.
That is a big fear for JYP though, that the members outgrow like Twice, you know.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think like, and this is a different conversation. Maybe we should have had this or save this to the end. But like, if we're talking about contracts like upcoming in 2022, don't you think they know that like, hey, you know what? We have ITZY and JYPN, and we'll get maybe like, for lack of better terms, like we'll get the most out of Twice in the next couple of years that we have.
Mm.
And if that is the case, then I don't think they need to chain these girls down to just only doing Twice stuff. I think they agree, hey, Twice, if you guys agree to go for the next 3 years, 2 years or whatnot, you guys can do individual stuff, but you guys are also still bringing in like 600K like albums per comeback, and so that's benefiting us. But like we know you're not going to go on for the next 7 years, so like this is where we kind of kind of do a give and take, a little bit of give and take.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
we'll
again, I'm also not a music entertainment employee, so I have no idea how this all works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, at the very end, we'll also kind of talk about that perception of like what JYP might do. Because yeah, in fact, since JYPN is debuting, there may be some structures and some kind of expectations that JYP has. But before we do, to tackle on the very last member, Tzuyu. She's one.
Why is she crying? Why is it this photo?
It was. I thought she looked beautiful in this photo. I'm not gonna lie.
No, she looks beautiful. But we're talking about girls leaving, and you have her crying, dude.
This was one member where I was genuinely having a hard time thinking about solo activities. Her and Chu. In terms of staying, I definitely feel like she still will stay. I'll give her an 80% on this. She. I think I kind of have another idea for a podcast later on, just for Tzuyu alone. It was the fact that I feel like I didn't get to know Tzuyu on the level as some of these other girls. Like even Mina, even though she's completely quiet, I feel like I know her personally more than I know Tzuyu. And it may be because she's kind of the youngest in the group, and she came to JYP at a very young age, and she's also one of the foreigners of the group. But like I looked at the list of like solo activities: singing, acting, variety. Like, would she start her own YouTube channel? Would she, like, what would she do? Like, an honest opinion was just like, I don't know. She might like start volunteering at like a nearby pet center or something like that because she really likes pets. But I was having a hard time genuinely. So I kind of want to ask you boys actually, what do you guys think about Tzui's future? Start with BM first.
Dubious take it.
Oh yeah, Dubious.
Yeah, I can take this first. Okay, so I'll give the rating first, and then I'll give my spiel, right? And cut me off if I'm talking too much. But I gave her 70%, and that's the lowest for me.
Interesting.
In the group.
Put him off. You said too much.
Again, she's my bias, ultimate bias in all K-pop. So what I say comes from the heart. So I was actually like, leading up to like a couple weeks ago, I was just like, oh, she's of course gonna renew. Like to me, she was on the same level as like Momo and Sana, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But then like there was an article that came out recently. I think it might have been all K-pop. I'll flash it if I find it again. But it was like people were saying like, oh, they think Tzuyu doesn't seem as happy as she was like back in 2016, 2017. And I was like,
oh, interesting.
But like, and I was like, these dummies. And then I was watching more of her recent stuff, and it's one of those things where you don't want to realize it, but then you keep looking out for her, and you're like, I feel like she's shying away a little bit. Like she is a little quieter. She isn't as jovial. And like there's moments where she is actually very like very vibrant, and like especially when she's around her unnies, right, her members or Twice members. But there's also a lot of moments where she feels kind of ow man, I hate that I observed this, but like she kind of seems like in her own world a little bit, kind of detached, and like kind of withdrawn. And I know people are gonna be like, she's an introvert. It's like, no, I know that, you stupid dummies. Like I know that. But then like even if you were to look back at some of her videos in like 2016 and 2017, the way that she would joke or the way that she would kind of interact with, on cameras, different than how she is now. And like, it might just be the fact that she's just matured, right? She was so young when she debuted. Maybe she just matured differently, and maybe she's a little tired of just like being on camera, like having to kind of put on a different persona, and then that's fine. But the reason why I give her such a low score is because, going back to your point, I agree. I think it's very hard to pinpoint who Tzuyu really is as a person because, like I'm not, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but the moment she debuted, she had a very strong controversy that she had to deal with, that related to the country that she's from and with China, right? And I think that left a wound on her that made it hard for her to be too expressive in front of the camera. And that might have kind of dictated some of the way that she, the persona that she kind of shows. And like one of the examples that Twice bring up quite often is that on camera or in public she cries the least, but apparently at home she's the one that cries the most. That's so different than what we would be able to, like we think, oh, maybe like Mina's like the one that kind of cries, or like maybe Jeongyeon or someone who might be a bit more emotional, but like Jui's the one that cries the most in the house. It's like, so like, I don't know, like there's a part of me that's like, I think what she knows in her life is Twice, because she debuted so young and she wants to be with her sisters and continue to Twice. But there's another world where I'm just like, she's really well off, probably one of the most well off in Twice. Her family's well off, we know that too. And she's mentioned many times about how, like you said, like how she wants to like own a farm, have some cows, and like I could see her completely doing that. And because of that, I give her a low percentage, and it hurts to say, but I give her 70%.
You think she's kind of trying to shy? You think there's a possibility she might try to shy away from the camera and do more kind of quieter work then?
She could. I mean, that's the thing where it's like I think I could imagine a life like that where she just lives away from the camera and does her quiet stuff. But at the same time, I don't know if she would be able to just move back to Taiwan just to do that. Just because like when you do see her on V Lives and stuff and the way that she interacts, at least like the genuine Chewie that I feel like I see is one that like actually does care about her relationship with the Twice members. And that's why I feel like, kind of like what BM said in the beginning about Nayeon, whether she'll stay or not because of where Twice goes. I feel like that will dictate a lot of whether she stays or not. If like some of the older Twice members that she's really close with, like Momo and Nayeon, decide to leave, I think she might leave. But I think if they stay, I think she'll also end up staying.
I see. BM then, your point.
I'll give my percentage first. 70.
Hey, we matched for the first time.
Same as Dubious, but my 70 means more.
Right.
It does.
Yeah. I think she just matured. Her humor developed into like, or like what she enjoys is like a little bit more mature. I feel like on writing and stuff, like how like her humor and stuff developed.
She is funny.
I think like like Dubious, when we were watching like the recent Twice Human Idol Theater,
or the gift wrapping thing,
or even like Time to Twice, know, like the horror segment and stuff. Sorry, horror.
Oh segment. Yeah. We're they're at the school.
Yeah, I just said horror. I just said horror segment, so it sounds like horror segment. Edit that out.
No.
Take 3. Horror segment.
At the brothel. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, defamation of character there. Yeah, the scary segment. Well, with that, she like her reactions and like her like attitude and stuff. I think I wouldn't call it like bored or like disinterested. Chewy's always been like, I feel like the most aloof member. And like, in my opinion, and I think like she just matured. She's like a little bit more like reserved as a person, But like if you watch like her interacting with other members and stuff, like she's always like quick to banter, like she always like calls out people, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope what I'm doing is like looking too much into it, you know. So yeah, I hope you're right.
I do want to say one thing. One of the times that I felt like Jui was really kind of herself was I don't know if you guys remember. There was a girl named Elkie from CLC, and
Yeah, I remember.
she, like, I think it was during like Idol Championship. She just like she like Jui went up to like Elkie just to like kind of like talk, and I always kind of say this, but you prefer and are always more comfortable being with the people that kind of speak your language. Mandarin is still her first language, and I feel like for her, there may be a good chance that she may do kind of like solo stuff where she, I don't know, appears like on some Mandarin speaking broadcast. And I think that's also maybe one of the reasons why I don't really know her as well, is because she hasn't been able to do that. Maybe because of the whole like political controversy issue. But I feel like past the 7-year contract, this may be one of her chances to kind of like start doing that. And maybe kind of like expand also like her friend group and try to like meet more like Chinese speakers who are in the K-pop industry or those that are not. But yeah, I guess if I was kind of wishing to see one thing from her, it would kind of be like that. Like even if I don't speak Mandarin, kind of seeing her in those kind of spheres.
Dubious.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. So like the all K-pop article, right, about Jui.
Mhm.
So according to like a lot of people, she seems like sadder. You said?
Yeah. I think the article, at least that's what the article was proposing.
Do you think it has anything to do with Gucci?
Yeah, it could be.
Her dog.
I mean,
her dog. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know how.
Because it was reported in September, mid-September, like mid to late September 2020, I think.
Hmm.
For those that don't know, Gucci's her late dog.
Yeah, her very famous
Yes.
dog.
Yeah, and we know how like we mentioned multiple times, like how important animals are in her life. So
Yeah.
that could definitely be the case.
Like maybe she's still like dealing with like
Loss.
yeah, and like grieving, you know.
Yeah, no, maybe it is. Maybe that is the case. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's very hard to pinpoint, like Chewie in a sense, as we talked about. So maybe that is the case.
Yeah.
I love
her. The last conversation I did want to end off with, we kind of talked about it. It's kind of like what you guys see to be like the future of Twice, and what like especially like JYP might want to do. We had conversations about JYP and a lot, which is the incoming girl group from JYP. Right now, ITZY's strong through their 3rd year. JYP N's about to start up. There's another boy group that's coming around. And so, yeah, kind of like considering all of those factors, and also the fact that now it's like the middle heat of the 4th generation, and there's like a bunch of other girl groups around, and all the competition, what you guys see as the future of Twice? Yeah.
All right, boys, get the Pepto Bismol ready because it's gonna get spicy here. I am gonna do the opposite and say what I don't want to see from Twice.
Oh, okay.
What I don't want to see from Twice is more English songs.
Oh,
I don't get it. I don't understand. I have never heard a song in a foreign language and gone, this song will be better in English. I don't like it. I don't like it. Why do you? It's not the fact that the song's in English, but it just seems so shoehorned to me. I hate when like BTS is a good example. I like BTS. I have a lot of songs on my playlist from BTS. I follow the members like pretty decently, right?
Right.
I have no clue why. I get it from a financial perspective, right? Or from like a marketing perspective. Yeah, right. I understand. And maybe that's just it. Maybe it's just all for money.
Yeah.
But then that it makes me correct, right? It's shoehorning it's shoehorning a concept into like a song for just money. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm also of the opinion that like this is pertaining to BTS. I'm sorry, it's kind of off topic, but like
no, it's good.
I guess it's still like tangentially related. But like I've enjoyed like their Korean songs more, you know.
Mm.
And I don't think it's me being biased. I think their Korean songs are better. But like
Yeah.
going back to Twice, I don't want to see more English songs. I think the feels. I know the feels charted incredibly well. Maybe it's because it was in English.
Mm.
I'm of the personal opinion that the feels was okay. I
Mhm.
much prefer Alcohol Free. I much prefer The Scientist. You know,
Mm. But
and
they're
they've
both
had
Korean
like
songs.
yeah, they've had like dashes and sprinkles of English in there, which is fine.
Right.
I'm actually in the minority, and I don't really mind if they like use like English phrases, because
Mhm.
the reason why I say that is because like in music, like when you write songs, sometimes it only fits like um it only fits the measure, or it only fits like the song if that particular phrase is in English as opposed to Korean, you know,
Mm.
because of the difference in syllables, you know, or like maybe rhyme, you know, it's like a better fit. So I don't really care about that, but I don't want more songs in like completely English. I don't
Right.
want that, especially when like not all the members have the greatest pronunciation. I think
Yeah.
Twice is pretty. I think Twice is pretty decent generally. I think they've gotten a lot better actually. Like as like holistically as a group. So it's not really a pronunciation thing for me. I just don't like it like in concept, you know, in theory.
Mm. Do you think a lot of international fans who aren't Koreans might share that same perspective, or do you think?
All right, take another pill of Pepto Bismol. I don't care. I don't care. Cry about it. I don't care.
This is gonna be the highlight.
They're Korean. They're not international. They're Korean.
Mhm.
Well, except for 4 members. But yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wait, cut that
No, that's
out. Well, Sana's basically Korean to me, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah,
She's
Hana's
so
just
she's
been
so
put
good
on.
at Korean.
Yeah, she
She's
is.
so like she's so integrated into the culture. I think Sana's like basically Korean.
Yeah.
No comment on Momo.
I mean, like all of these girls like trained in Korea for a long time. So
Yeah. I mean, like they're better. They're for sure better, like grammatically and like on paper
Right.
at Korean than I am, for sure, 100%.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't want more English songs. That's the baseline.
Yeah.
What I want to see more variety. I really enjoy the variety.
Mm.
I actually look out for the variety, which is it's kind of rare for me to like look out for like YouTube videos, you know, and, like anticipate it. But I've enjoyed like Time Twice series. I've enjoyed their Human Idol Theater. I actually won a second Human Idol Theater. It was so great. I
It was
thought
so
that
fun.
that series was so fun. Me and Dubious, for the first time in a long time, had like such a blast watching like Twice stuff. It was awesome. That's what I wanted to see more. I hope that JYP gives them like the freedom so that they don't get bored and they're not like pigeonholed into Twice.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. That's
Yeah.
my whole spiel.
Yeah, I guess if I was kind of to add on to that, I do want to see them doing more solo activities that kind of fit to their skills as well. Kind of like Momo going on dancing shows, and like Taeyong going on variety. Just because, again, it's something that I haven't been able to see a lot, and I think it's also one of the reasons why I miss second gen idol shows is because you usually see a lot of like new images and just a lot more character when they interact with like different people. I think during this kind of COVID era, they kind of been sticking to their own groups. But it could be a very fun and interesting like chemistry that you see when someone like Hana like interacts with some other idols from other groups, or just with other variety stars. And it's very like heartwarming because like they get in like very like conversations that like she might not have with Twice, and just seeing them kind of like outside of music as well. Like if one of them was going to acting, like I think I'll definitely check that out. And I think some of them also just kind of need to do some solo activities as well. I'm pretty sure it's on the mindset of some of these members. Yeah. What about you, Dubious?
For me, I agree with a lot of points. So for me, Nayeon's like 27, 26, 27.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at like just thinking about the girls themselves as people too, right? When I look at that, I want them to have the next like couple of years of their prime years left to be just great, right? And like I want that time, and like even Chewy's like 23 right now, so like even if she like you know does is an idol for the next couple of years, she'll still only be like maybe mid or late 20s.
Yeah.
So she still has a lot of time. So like I don't think age is the issue. For me, it's just that like we understand fourth gen's coming up, and it's gonna be, especially like even if you look at just JYPN, right? So there's gonna be more competition, and the last thing I want to see is these girls fizzle out. If anything, I want these girls to leave with a bang. You know, I want them to be one of the first groups to do that. You know, I don't. I think realistically, what's going to happen is maybe a couple years from now, some of the girls will leave and whatnot. But I actually don't want to see that. If something's going to happen, I want all of them to be like, if one of us is leaving, then all of us are just not going to do twice anymore. I actually want it to be kind of poetic in that sense if they were to if they were to disband, right? But in terms of what I want JYP to give them, I want them to give them more individual freedom. Like I actually would love to see them do individual Instagram. I actually would. Like I think BTS recently opened their individual Instagram stuff.
That's right.
I think JYP should let these girls do it. And I would think that these girls will want to do it as well, just so that they could build their individual brand as well. You know, like and get sponsorships like individually. And I'm sure that's gonna create a division. Like I'm sure like some of these girls will get more attention than other ones. Like that's inevitable. However, I think that will set them up for a better springboard when they finish twice, so that they could have more options. If Jihyo wants to go live off in the hillside of Taiwan and own cows, that's fine. But if she wants to do something else, if Nayeon wants to do solo singing, having done individual work will allow her to do that more seamlessly than going straight from twice and not having done any individual stuff and then trying to start like an individual career, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oh, okay. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I want to add. I want JYP to give these girls the avenues and the resources to be able to like integrate back into post-idol life, or non-idol life.
Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what tends to happen with idol groups is they try to drag out their popularity as long as they can, but they only see it fizzle out, and it's like a 2-year process. One member leaves, 2 member, and then it's kind of like done, right? Or like they just kind of go into nowhere and then they disband. So I definitely agree that it would be poetic and nice to see them kind of just leave all as 9 on a group. I don't think they'll be able to leave on maybe like a high note with JYP.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
it's gonna be very difficult because they're selling albums like still like a monster. They're still monsters when it comes to selling albums, and it'll be very hard for JYP to be like, oh yeah, you guys want to all leave? Go ahead, pick up your bags and leave. So. But then I'm not expecting that to happen, but if I could write a ending for them, that's how I would see it end. And maybe they could come back and do like reunion couple, every couple of years, but I just don't want like I know SNSD are one of the best girl groups of all time. However, their ending wasn't the most ceremonious. Especially with some members leaving, and then there was like kind of like this uncertainty as to whether they still are SNSD, or not. And I don't want that as a life fan of Twice. I don't want to be uncertain as to whether these girls are gonna come back or not. I just want to be clear, and then so that when they're doing their last comeback song or whatnot, we could all celebrate it, and it'll be clean. We'll be able to do that ceremoniously. But okay, maybe that's going a little too far ahead. As for next year, I just want them to get a good contract that will be able to let them shine in their individual skins a bit more. And I 100% agree with BM. I want them to do more variety stuff. Like the reason why I feel like I always come back to Twice is not only because like I kind of grew up with them during the time that I really like K-pop, but because I think they're such they seem like such great people. They seem like such lovable girls, and like I'm not gonna say they are lovable girls because we don't know who they are really behind the screen, but their chemistry just off the charts. and it's just always so fun watching them. And I think that's their strong point.
Mm. Yeah. No, I think that's a good note to end off on. These 9 girls, stuck together for 7 strong years. A lot of groups go through controversies or like member changes, but they haven't really had to face with that. So yeah,
I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Most successful girl group so far.
Mhm.
And like we mentioned, like all without doing individual stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe possibly like one of them not even being like the best in like any particular area, but just being such a strong group together.
That's right. Well, that concludes our discussion today regarding Twice's future for 2022 and onward. Make sure to always check out our previous podcast videos on our YouTube channel. And if you'd like us to discuss any other topics or have your own opinions on our videos, please leave your comments down below. And of course, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.
It was nice
Thank
knowing
you.
all of you.
Dude, we got a lot more passionate than I thought. This episode.
It was funny because Dubious said, "Oh, this is probably only gonna be like a 30-40 minute episode." But
yeah, I was like, I'm kind of worried. I think it's gonna be like a 25-minute like show.